Deep in Yellowstone's wild heart, a gray wolf named Luna staggered through the mist, her dying cub dangling from her jaws. With a desperate howl, she laid it at the feet of 7-year-old Lily Harper, a girl she hadn't seen since infancy, and stared with pleading amber eyes, trusting her to save it. What happened next defied belief, unraveling a mystery of love, loss, and courage that shook the park to its core. Want more stories that tug at your heart and spark your wonder? Hit that subscribe button and join us for the ride. Lily's tale is just the beginning. The first light of April 6, 2025, crept over the jagged peaks of Yellowstone National Park, painting the towering pines with streaks of gold and shadow. 7-year-old Lily Harper perched on the weathered steps of her family's cabin, her chestnut curls tumbling over a faded denim jacket. In her lap rested a sketchbook, its pages filled with pencil drawings of deer, foxes, and the occasional wolf, creatures she'd glimpsed on her treks through the park with her dad, Tom Harper. The morning air carried the crisp scent of pine needles and damp earth, a stillness broken only by the distant chatter of chickadees. Then came the howl, a raw, guttural cry that sliced through the quiet like a shard of glass. It wasn't the usual symphony of wolf calls that often drifted across the park's vast expanse, a sound Lily had grown to love. This was different, urgent, primal, a plea that tugged at her chest and made her small hand tighten on the porch railing. Her hazel eyes, flecked with green like her dad's, scanned the mist curling through the trees. From the haze emerged a gray wolf, her fur matted with mud and streaked with pine sap. Her gait labored yet resolute. In her jaws hung a tiny cub, its body limp, blood staining its soft, silver-gray fur, its eyes half open in a fragile flicker of life. Lily's breath caught, her heart hammering against her ribs. Fear should have propelled her inside, screaming for her mom, but something held her fast, a glimmer in the wolf's amber gaze, a quiet knowing that felt like a thread tying her to this moment. The wolf stopped a few feet from the steps, her eyes locked on Lily's, unwavering and deep. With a gentleness that seemed impossible for a wild creature, she lowered the cub to the ground, placing it at Lily's feet, then stepped back 3 paces, her head dipping low, watching with a stillness that spoke louder than any sound. Lily's mind raced. She'd seen that notched ear before, in the Polaroids her dad kept tacked above his desk. Faded images of a wolf he'd called Luna. Luna, she whispered, the name slipping out like a memory she hadn't known she held. The wolf's ears twitched forward, and for a heartbeat, the world shrank to just the two of them, girl and wolf, bound by something unspoken. This wasn't just any wolf. This was Luna, the alpha female Tom had rescued as a pup nearly 10 years ago. Snared in a poacher's trap, he'd nursed her back to health in their cabin, documented her pack's astonishing behaviors, and released her into the wild, only for her to return. Time and again, to the edges of his life, a silent partner in his research. Tom Harper had been Yellowstone's soul, a park biologist whose love for wolves ran as deep as the park's rivers. His death the previous winter, found at the base of a snowy ravine after a storm, had been ruled an accident, a slip on ice during a routine survey. But Grace Harper, Lily's mom, never bought it. Tom knew those trails like the lines of his own hands, he'd hiked them in blizzards and moonlight. Something was wrong, she'd insisted, though the park brass dismissed her as a grieving widow. Since then, Grace had kept their remote research outpost alive, raising Lily amidst the wild beauty of Yellowstone while battling grief, dwindling funds, and a gnawing sense of unfinished business. The cabin itself was a testament to Tom's passion, log walls lined with wolf photos, shelves groaning under journals and field notes, a battered coffee pot still sitting where he'd left it. Lily, inheriting her dad's curiosity and quiet courage, spent her days exploring, sketching, and listening to the wind, as if it might carry his voice back to her. She'd been 4 when he'd first taken her to watch Luna's pack from a blind. Her tiny hand in his as he whispered about their intelligence, their loyalty, things science barely grasped. Now, staring at Luna and her cub, Lily didn't hesitate. She knelt, scooping the cub into her arms, its faint warmth seeping through her sweater, its shallow breaths tickling her cheek. "Mom! Mom, come quick!" she shouted, racing inside, the screen door banging behind her. Grace, elbow deep in dishwater in the tiny kitchen, dropped a mug. It shattered on the plank floor as she spun around. "Lily, what?" Her words faltered as she saw the trembling bundle in her daughter's arms and the wolf pacing beyond the open door. "It's Luna, Mom, Dad's wolf. She brought her baby. It's hurt bad. We have to help." Lily's voice quivered, her eyes brimming with tears and a fierce determination that mirrored Tom's. Grace knelt, brushing a curl from Lily's flushed face, her own heart pounding. "Slow down, honey. Are you sure?" But the urgency in her daughter's plea and the sight of Luna's notched ear erased doubt. This wasn't one of Lily's forest fairy tales. She'd spun plenty since Tom's death, coping through imagination, but something real, something extraordinary. Grace grabbed the satellite phone from the counter, her fingers trembling as she dialed her brother, Jack Sullivan, Yellowstone's lead ranger. "Jack, it's me. Get to the cabin, now. Lily says Luna's here with an injured cub." Jack's voice crackled through. Gruff but steady, laced with the weariness of a man who'd seen too many park crises. "Luna? Tom's Luna? I'm 20 minutes out, hang tight. Bringing Voss." Jack's truck rumbled up the dirt path in a cloud of dust, tires crunching gravel. Beside him sat Dr. Emily Voss, the park's wildlife vet, her silver-streaked hair pulled into a practical bun, her calm demeanor a steady anchor in chaos. Lily met them on the porch, the cub cradled against her chest, Luna still waiting a cautious distance away, her amber eyes tracking their every move. Dr. Voss sucked in a sharp breath. "That's her, all right, Luna. I'd know that notched ear anywhere. Tom's prize subject." Jack nodded, his angular jaw tight, his ranger hat casting a shadow over his intense blue eyes, eyes he shared with Grace. A Sullivan family trait. She shouldn't be this close, something seriously wrong. Dr. Voss crouched beside Lily, her hands deft as she opened her medical kit, her voice gentle but firm. "Let me see him, sweetheart." She examined the cub, her brow furrowing. Deep lacerations, could be a fall, maybe a cougar. "He's weak, dehydrated. We need to get him to the clinic." "No." Lily stepped forward, clutching the cub tighter, her small frame trembling with conviction. "Luna brought him to me, she trusts us. If we take him away, she'll think we're stealing him." Grace rested a hand on her shoulder, her voice soft but resolute. "She might be right, Jack. Tom always said Luna understood more than we thought, showed it in ways he couldn't explain. We've got his old supplies here, can we treat him?" Jack and Dr. Voss exchanged a glance, the weight of protocol clashing with the scene before them. Park rules demanded injured wildlife go to a facility, but the bond shimmering between Lily and Luna defied logic. "All right," Dr. Voss relented, her tone pragmatic yet tinged with awe. "We'll try it here, but we're bending every reg in the book, and Klein won't like it." She administered a mild sedative, lifting the cub gently as Luna followed, her paws silent on the grass, her gaze never wavering. They carried him inside, transforming the living room coffee table into an exam station, Grace clearing Tom's old maps, Lily fetching blankets, while Luna's silhouette framed the window, a mother's unwavering vigil. Word of the wolf's desperate act spread like wildfire through their tight-knit park community. By noon, a crowd gathered at the cabin's edge, rangers in olive green uniforms, locals with thermos mugs, and ranchers with furrowed brows and calloused hands. Hank Grayson, a cattleman with a weathered Stetson and a long-standing grudge against wolves, led the skeptics, his voice carrying over the murmurs. "This is the damn problem," he growled at Jack, jabbing a finger toward the cabin. "You park folks coddle these killers." Lost 2 calves last spring to wolves, now you're playin' vet to them. Jack squared his shoulders, his tone even but firm. They're protected, Hank, endangered species, been here longer than your herd. We're just doing right by them. Hank spat into the dirt, his gray eyes narrowing. Right by them, wrong by us. My granddad ranched this land, wolves weren't pets back then. Beside him stood Ellie Grayson, his 16-year-old granddaughter, her dark braid swinging as she shifted uncomfortably. She'd grown up hearing Hank's rants but loved the park's wildness, a quiet conflict she kept to herself. Inside, Dr. Voss worked with quiet precision, her hands steady as she cleaned the cub's wounds. Good news, he's bruised up, mild concussion, cuts, but no broken bones or internal bleeding. With rest and care, he'll pull through. Grace exhaled, relief washing over her like a warm tide. Lily sat cross-legged nearby, her sketchbook abandoned on the couch, eyes locked on the cub she'd already named Scout, Tom's old nickname for her. From days when she'd toddle after him, a pint-sized shadow on his research hikes. But the fragile peace shattered when park director Robert Klein stormed in unannounced, his pristine uniform a stark contrast to the cabin's lived-in chaos. His silver hair gleamed under the light, his posture rigid with authority. "Sullivan," he barked, his voice cutting through the room, "this violates 6 protocols, minimum. That cub belongs in a facility. Not a civilian home. Move it by morning, or you're all cited." Jack bristled, stepping forward. "Special circumstances, sir," Klein cut him off, his gaze icy. "No exceptions. This isn't a petting zoo." He turned to Grace, softening his tone slightly, though it rang hollow. "Mrs. Harper, I get your loss, Tom was a good man, but this isn't how we honor him." After Klein stormed out, tension hung thick in the air. Jack rubbed his temples, his ranger hat crushed in his fist. He's always hated Tom's theories, called his wolf intelligence fantasy. Said it muddied management. Lily piped up, her voice sharp with a child's clarity. "He told Dad people shouldn't know wolves think, it'd make 'em harder to kill. I heard 'em arguing once." Grace shot her a look, where had she been hiding that, but doubt crept in, a seed taking root. That night, as Scout slept under a heat lamp, his tiny chest rising and falling, and Luna kept her vigil outside, Lily slipped into Tom's study. The room smelled of old paper and leather, a sanctuary untouched since his death. She tugged a leather journal from a secret nook behind the bookshelf, a spot he'd shown her for treasures. Like arrowheads or hawk feathers. The pages brimmed with notes in his neat script, Luna's puzzle-solving, moving rocks to reach food, her pack's intricate social bonds, and cryptic warnings about survey crews in the North Woods. Beyond their usual mapping zones. The last entry, dated 3 days before his death, chilled her, thereafter something up north, Luna's pack's in the crosshairs. Corporate gear. Not park. Meeting Jack tomorrow, gotta tell him. Across the park, Jack sat in his ranger station, sifting through evidence bags, bullets pulled from wolf carcasses over the past year. All identical, all ranger issue. His gut twisted, a suspicion forming he couldn't shake. Someone inside was hunting Luna's kin, someone with access. Back at the cabin, Grace found a note slipped under the door, "Stop Tom's work. Or Lily's next." She hid it in her pocket, her hands shaking, but the threat ignited a fire in her chest. Luna's trust wasn't random, Tom's legacy pulsed through them, and she'd protect it with everything she had. Meanwhile, Ellie Grayson lingered near the cabin after Hank stormed off, her sneakers scuffing the dirt. She'd seen Luna's plea, heard Lily's fierce defense. She pulled a crumpled photo from her pocket, her dad. Lost in a storm years ago, with Tom, who'd found him. Maybe wolves weren't the enemy her grandpa claimed. Dawn broke over the Harper cabin on April 7, 2025, painting the pines in hues of rose and gold. But tension hung thicker than the morning fog. Lily sat by Scout, feeding him formula from a bottle, his tiny tongue lapping weakly, his amber eyes, Luna's eyes, meeting hers with a spark of life. She'd stayed up half the night, whispering to him, promising he'd be okay. Luna paced the tree line outside, her gray form a constant shadow, her notched ear catching the first rays of sunlight. Grace barely slept, the note's threat, stop Tom's work, or Lily's next, looping in her mind like a broken record. She'd lost Tom, she'd fight heaven and earth to keep Lily and these wolves safe. Jack arrived at first light, his ranger truck kicking up gravel, his face lined with exhaustion. He carried a thermos of coffee and a grim resolve. "Check those bullets," he said. Voice low, pouring Grace a cup. "They're park stock, same caliber, same markings. Someone's targeting wolves, maybe Luna's pack specifically." Grace clutched Tom's journal, her knuckles white. He wrote about surveys up north, thought they were after something, not just mapping. Said he'd meet you the day he died. Did he say anything? Jack froze, his blue eyes darkening. He called that morning, said it was big, something that'd shake the park. Never showed. Found him that afternoon. His voice trailed off, the memory a fresh wound. Grace pressed. "And Klein, why's he so hellbent on moving Scout?" Jack shook his head. "He's covering something, those bullets, that note. It's too neat." Lily burst into the kitchen, waving a small digital recorder. Her curls wild from sleep. "Found this in Dad's hiking boot, his secret spot." She pressed play, and Tom's voice filled the room, warm and steady despite the static. October 20th. 2024, Luna's teaching her pack symbols for food spots, circles for berries, lines for deer trails. Beyond instinct, she's reasoning, passing it on. But survey crews were back in the North Woods today, saw drilling gear. Not park stuff. Corporate logos, Highland Mining. Luna's territory's right on top of it. Meeting Jack tomorrow, gotta tell him what's at stake. The room stilled, Tom's words a ghost among them. Grace whispered, "He knew too much, someone stopped him." Jack added, "If they're clearing wolves for profit, land, minerals, Klein might be in on it." Lily clutched Scout. Her voice fierce. "We can't let them win, Luna trusted us for a reason." Klein's 48-hour deadline loomed like a storm cloud. By midday, the cabin road buzzed with life, ranchers like Hank Grayson faced off with conservationists. Their signs a clash of wills, protect our cattle versus save Luna's pack. A news van rolled in, reporter Beth Andrews, a sharp-eyed local with a knack for big stories, setting up with her crew. Drawn by whispers of the wolf girl. Hank cornered Jack near the porch, his Stetson tilted back, his voice gravelly with frustration. "This circus'll ruin us, wolves'll thrive while my herd starves. Your doctorin' am up to kill more calves." Jack held his ground, his tone calm but unyielding. "Something's rotten, Hank, Tom's death, these shootings. Wolves aren't the enemy here. Help us dig, Tom saved your boy once." Hank scowled, but a flicker of unease crossed his weathered face. Years ago, Tom had found Hank's son, lost in a blizzard. Hank owed him. And that debt gnawed at him. Ellie Grayson lingered nearby, her dark eyes darting between her grandpa and the cabin, Luna's silhouette stirring something in her she couldn't name. Inside, Klein returned with 2 rangers, his voice cold as steel. "Time's up, hand over the cub." Dr. Voss stepped forward, her hands stained with antiseptic. "He's not stable, needs at least 2 more days." Klein snapped, 48 hours, or you're done. Sullivan, you're on leave, effective now. Harper, cooperate, or lose your research permit. He stormed out, leaving a heavy silence. Jack muttered, "He's hiding something, those bullets, that note, his rush to bury this. Too convenient." Lily piped up, her small voice cutting through. He hated Dad's ideas, told him people shouldn't know wolves think. 'Cause it'd make 'em harder to kill. I heard 'em arguing last fall. Klein yelled Dad was messing up the plan. Grace's eyes widened. Lily had been eavesdropping from the loft that day. A detail she'd forgotten till now. The seed of doubt sprouted, tendrils wrapping around her heart. Grace dialed Clara Redfeather, a tribal elder from the nearby reservation and Tom's old trail guide. Her voice trembling but firm. "Clara, it's Grace. We need sanctuary, Luna, scout, us. Someone's after them, maybe us too. Tom's death wasn't an accident." Clara's reply was warm. Steady as the earth. "Bring 'em here, our land's sovereign, safe from feds unless the council says. Tom was family to us." The plan took shape over coffee and maps spread across the kitchen table. Jack would drive south with an empty crate. A decoy to throw Klein off, while Grace, Lily, Dr. Voss, and Clara moved Scout north via hidden trails known only to the tribe. Lily insisted, "Luna'll follow me. Dad taught her signals when she was little." Jack balked, too wild, too risky, but Lily's fire, a spark of Tom's stubbornness, won out. "Dad trusted her, I do too. She knows me." At dusk, they loaded Scout into a crate scented with Lily's jacket. His tiny whimpers softening as she hummed to him. She stood by the SUV, mimicking Tom's old hand signals, raised palm for stay, a sweep for follow, gestures he'd used with Luna as a pup. Luna emerged from the trees, cautious but steady, her nostrils flaring as she processed the familiar scent. "We're keeping him safe," Lily said softly, her voice a bridge across species. Luna sniffed the air, then trailed them as the SUV rolled out, her gray form weaving through the underbrush. Clara guided them through unmarked paths, the SUV jostling over roots and rocks. Headlights slicing the twilight. After a mile, Lily's face fell. "She's gone," but Clara smiled, her dark eyes glinting. "Give her time, she's weighing trust against fear. She'll come." Sure enough, Luna's shadow flickered through the pines, pacing them at a distance. Grace teared up, whispering, "Tom was right, she understands us." They hit a snag at a shallow stream crossing. Hank Grayson waited on the far bank. His truck idling, headlights glinting off the water. Grace tensed, her hand on the wheel. "How'd he find us?" Clara said, calm as ever, "I called him, he's with us." Hank approached. Gruff but steady, his Stetson shadowing his face. "Road ahead's mine, private land, cameras everywhere. I'll guide you past, M." "Why?" Grace asked, wary, her grip tightening. Hank shifted, his voice low. "Tom saved my boy, Joey, lost in a storm, 6 years back. Found him half frozen, carried him home. I owe him. Hate wolves near my herd, sure, but I hate corrupt suits screwing this park more." His help got them to a tribal cabin by dawn, a sturdy log hideout nestled against a rocky hillside, sagebrush whispering in the breeze. Luna settled at the clearing's edge, her eyes on the cabin door. Lily knelt nearby, signaling Luna with Tom's gestures, pointing to the cabin, cradling her arms. "Your baby's safe here." Luna stepped closer, sniffed the air, then locked eyes with Lily, a silent pact sealed across the wild divide. "She knows," Lily said, her face lighting up with a smile that melted Grace's heart. Inside, Hank unpacked a satellite phone, its signal untraceable by park networks. "For Jack, off the grid. Whatever's up north, he'll find it." Grace nodded, clutching Tom's journal. "Tom died for this, we finish it, for him, for them." Dr. Voss set Scout up in a corner, his crate padded with blankets. His tiny paws twitching as he dreamed. Ellie Grayson slipped in behind Hank, her sneakers silent, her eyes wide at Scout. "Can I help?" she asked Lily, hesitant. Lily grinned. Yeah, wanna feed him? A fragile alliance bloomed, two girls bridging a generational rift. Days passed in a fragile peace. Scout grew stronger, nibbling meat scraps under Lily's care. His playful nips earning giggles. Clara sang tribal wolf tales by the fire, stories of spirit wolves guiding lost souls, Luna woven into their lore. Grace and Dr. Voss pored over Tom's notes, piecing together his final days, while Jack's voice crackled through the phone, found survey markers up north, Highland mining logos. Klein stonewalling me. Then came the rotors, a private helicopter's thrum slicing the stillness. Lily bolted inside, breathless. Someone's coming. Clara peered out, her face grim. Not Park, private craft. They shouldn't know we're here, someone talked. Hank cursed, spotting dust beyond the trees. Ground units too, park vehicles and unmarked SUVs closing in. Grace's mind raced, the note's threat flashing red. Clara, you mentioned old mining tunnels yesterday, can they hide us? Clara nodded. Her voice steady. Half a mile north, deep, hidden. My people used them in the old days. We split, Voss, Lily, Scout with me to the tunnels, Grace, Hank west as bait. Lily clung to Grace. Tears welling. I'm not leaving you, Luna won't follow without me. Grace knelt, cupping her daughter's face. You're Tom's heart, Lily, keep Scout safe till Jack exposes this. I'll be okay. Tears fell, but Lily nodded, hugging her tight. They slipped out the back as the chopper buzzed overhead, Clara leading Lily, Dr. Voss, and Scout through thick brush. The cub bundled in Lily's arms. Gunshots cracked behind, Grace and Hank's diversion, echoing through the pines. Lily froze, her face draining. Mom, Dr. Voss grabbed her arm, pulling her on. They're saving us, Lily, keep moving. The tunnel mouth loomed, vine-choked, narrow, a dark maw in the hillside. Clara lit a flashlight, revealing a stone maze hewn by hands long gone. Deep inside, they reached a cavern, pictographs of wolves and hunters danced on the walls, a spring trickled in the corner. Scout whimpered in his crate, Lily knelt, soothing him with a lullaby Tom used to sing. Her voice steady despite her fear. You're safe, Scout, we're family now. The cavern's cool air wrapped around them like a shroud, the flashlight's beam casting long shadows across the ancient stone. Lily sat by Scout, stroking his fur through the crate's slats, his amber eyes blinking up at her with growing trust. Clara stood watch near the tunnel mouth, her weathered face etched with focus. While Dr. Voss checked Scout's vitals, pulse steady, wounds healing. 3 days had passed in their tribal sanctuary, a fragile peace shattered by the helicopter's arrival. Now, hidden in the depths of the old mining tunnels, they waited, the weight of their flight pressing down like the rock above. Footsteps echoed through the passage, rapid, uneven. Lily tensed, but Clara signaled calm. Grace and Jack burst into the cavern, breathless and battered, followed by a stranger, Nate Sullivan, Jack's estranged brother, his arm wrapped in a bloody bandage. His face a harder version of Jack's. Grace clutched Lily, her voice a ragged whisper. Thank God you're safe. A superficial cut marred her forehead, her jacket torn, but she was whole. Jack limped in, his ranger uniform shredded, left eye swollen shut, ribs bruised from a scuffle. Nate flipped, helped us after Luna pinned him, he said, collapsing against a rock. Nate stepped forward, his gaze shifting under Lily's glare. She could have killed me, didn't. Held me down, till I saw sense. He confessed, voice rough. Klein had hired him months ago to cull pests in the North Woods, wolves blocking a park project. Tom caught him mid-hunt, saw Klein signed orders, and pieced it together, rare earth minerals under Luna's territory, a Highland mining grab masked as geological surveys. Last I saw Tom, He was heading to blow the whistle, Nate said, eyes dropping. Next day, he's dead, ravine fall, they said. I didn't ask questions, till now. Jack pulled a waterproof case from his jacket, revealing a memory card. Found this in Tom's hidden camera up north, off the official grid. Retrieved it yesterday before meeting Grace. He handed it to Grace, who plugged it into the satellite phone. Images flickered, Tom examining survey markers, timestamped the morning of his death, then Klein, hours later, at the same spot, loosening straps on Tom's climbing harness, retrieving a notebook from his dropped pack. Audio crackled, it's handled, Wilson won't be a problem. Clear North Ridge by Friday. Grace choked back a sob, the truth a dagger, he murdered him, cold blood. Ellie Grayson slipped in behind them. Her braid askew, hands trembling. I followed Grandpa, heard the chopper, knew something was up. I wanna help. Lily softened, handing her a water bottle. You're brave, Scout likes you. FBI agent Maria Torres arrived next, her boots echoing, flanked by tribal police. Jack's broadcast had hit airwaves. Klein's detained, Highland execs too, she said, her voice crisp but kind. Your brother-in-law reached a news crew, Beth Andrews aired that footage live. Went viral, public's furious. Medics checked Scout, Lily insisting, he stays with us, Luna wanted it. Dad'd want it. Torres nodded. We'll figure it out, rehab's an option, but he's yours for now. A year later, spring 2026 bloomed across Yellowstone, wildflowers dotting meadows. Streams swelling with snowmelt. The Harper cabin, reborn as the Tom Harper Wolf Center, buzzed with life, school buses unloading kids, rangers leading tours. Lily, now 8. Sat in a grassy clearing, Scout bounding around her, his thick gray fur gleaming, amber eyes sharp with his mother's spirit. She jotted notes in Tom's color-coded system, blue for play, red for learning, her small hands steady with purpose. Grace watched from the porch, pride swelling. Tom'd be amazed, she told Dr. Voss, now a permanent fixture. She's his echo, carrying his torch. The Yellowstone conspiracy had reshaped their world. Klein faced trial, murder, corruption, conspiracy, Highland mining barred from federal contracts, their illegal surveys exposed. The North Woods became a protected sanctuary, a testament to Tom's fight. Jack, promoted to Chief Ranger, restored integrity to park management, his badge gleaming with new purpose. Nate, reformed, tracked poachers with tribal scouts, his bond with Jack mending stitch by stitch. Clara's tribe honored Luna in ceremony, her spirit a guardian of the land, woven into their songs. Kids swarmed the center, awed as Scout fetched objects by name, ball, stick, rope, Lily narrating Tom's findings with a confidence beyond her years, wolves' brilliance, their bonds. Their right to exist. Hank Grayson, once a foe, brought fencing plans, livestock safe, wolves free, his gruff voice softened. Tom was right, balance matters. Ellie's been on me about it. Ellie, now a junior volunteer, fed Scout treats, her rift with Hank healing through their shared cause. That night, by a fire pit outside the center, the family, forged in loss, bound by love, gathered. Jack and Nate sat side by side, swapping stories of their wild youth, laughter easing old wounds. Clara sang a wolf hymn, her voice rising with the smoke. While Grace and Dr. Voss planned a new study, Scout's behaviors a bridge to Tom's theories. Lily leaned against Grace, Scout at her feet, his ears perked to distant howls. Sometimes I hear them. Lily confided to Clara, her voice soft. Wolves up north, Luna's kin? Clara nodded, her dark eyes warm. Spirits say wolves never leave their land, they guide the next ones home. You'll track them someday, like Tom. Scout rose, muzzle lifting, and howled, a wild call answered from the peaks, a chorus weaving past and present. Lily's hand rested on his back. Feeling the vibration, her heart full. "We did it, Dad, we kept your promise." Under a blanket of stars, their legacy pulsed: Tom's passion, Luna's trust, a girl and her wolf standing at the wild's edge. Building understanding where fear once reigned. The fire crackled, and the night sang on. From Lily and Luna's incredible journey, we learn that trust and love can bridge even the wildest divides, between species, between generations, between past and present. It's a reminder that standing up for what's right, even against the odds, honors those we've lost and builds a legacy of hope. What does this story teach you about courage or connection? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Give us a like if it moved you, and share it with someone who needs a little inspiration today. Let's keep the conversation going.